So if you guys don't know, I had to take my ASVAB 4 different times, okay? So I'm gonna go over how I got to take it 4 times and how I'm just so blessed with that. Okay, so the first time I took it, I basically studied for it in high school. I took it my senior year. I had a tutor for a little bit, maybe like 2-3 months, that just helped me on the math portion, and I got a 72. So that was my first score. I mean, sorry, I got a 71, okay? During high school, I went to different recruiters before I even took the test, and they were like, you know what, you're not really gonna be eligible because of your weight. So I was over the weight limit. So right after I graduated high school, I had my scores, but I wasn't at the weight limit. So instead of just waiting around to get to the weight limit, I was like, you know what, let me start some schooling. So I went to a community college by my house, and I was like, let me get some schooling in, so that way I'm not just, you know, taking off a year from school and everything while I'm getting my weight off. So as I'm going through this journey, this weight loss journey, I lost the weight I needed to. I went to a different recruiter, and basically I got the process started all over again. So by that time, it took me a while to just get to the final weight that I needed to be. So I went to my recruiter, and by the time I was supposed to go to MEPS, my ASVAB, it expired. It expires in 2 years, so it had been 2 years, and it expired. So they set up another time for me to take the ASVAB, and I was very sad about that because it was just, I didn't think I was gonna get a better score. I wasn't in a math class at the time. I was in college. I was just taking, you know, my major work and just some general ed, but no math at the time. So I was like, oh great, I'm gonna get a horrible, horrible score. Like, why even try? But I took it again. I went to DeVry in Pomona. I talked a little bit about this in my other video, but I went there and I didn't study as much. I had a week before I took it, and I didn't study as much, but I basically, I just went in there. I studied maybe, not even the whole time, maybe 3-4 days out of the whole week that I had, because I still had school and work, and yeah, but I was kind of just procrastinating a little bit. But I took it, and I had work that same day. So I went in there, and they started late. I didn't know that it was basically going to be a whole day thing. I thought it was like 2-3 hour thing. It was basically a long, long time. So if you are taking it, you need to give yourself the whole day. Do not have anything planned that whole day. Just give yourself that time, okay? So, because the test only takes about 2 to 3 hours, but just the process of getting in, it is a very long time. So I went in there, and I had work right after I was gonna take the test. So it came time, I'm taking the test, I get to maybe like the almost halfway through the test, and I look at the clock, and it is like time for me to leave. It is time for me to go. I have work that same day. Oh my gosh. Now, obviously the Air Force is my ultimate, not my ultimate, but it's like my goal, and obviously I'll have a job in there and everything. So I didn't need to worry that much about my previous job, but obviously don't want to get fired from any job. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be late. So basically at the end, or at the middle of my test, I just start hitting A, B, A, B on the keyboard, and every answer I just press A, B, A, B, and I was like, I gotta go, I gotta go. And I knew I could take it again, but some people can't, so you need to make sure you know if you are somebody who can take it again or not. Obviously don't do what I did, but you know that. So I went up there, and he was like, wow, you're the first one done. Even though I was one of the last people to go in, I was the first one done. But obviously, because I just pressed A, B, A, B. So I give it to him, he gives me the paper, and they put it in an envelope for you, and you're supposed to take it to your recruiter. My recruiter just said, when you get in your car, just open it, doesn't really matter. But listen to what your recruiter says, obviously. And so I opened it in the car, and it said I got a 52. So that score was not pleasing to me. Now, some people, they strive to get a 52. Some people, like, that's like where they need to be, but I know I could have done better personally. I could have done better. So I basically, you know, was not happy with that score, and turned it in, and I got like chewed out by my dad, and he was like, you could have done so much better, and you know, like, the Air Force is your job, so you don't have to worry about this old job. But you know, I wanted him to know that, you know, I still don't want to get fired from my job. So that was the second time that I took it. The fourth time I took the ASVAB, I basically went to my recruiter. I wanted to take it again. Obviously that 52 was not gonna fly with me, so, or with my dad. So what I did was I set up another appointment. She set up another time for me to take it, and the next time it was in LA. I am about like 45 minutes or so from LA, but like an hour with traffic. So it took me a minute to say yes, because she told me it was gonna be, I had to be there at 6 a.m. Okay, and I was like, okay, so I have to study, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. or I have to wake up at like 4 a.m. and then be there at like 6 in LA to take this test. And I'm just like, what if I'm so tired, I don't know what I'm pressing? I don't know. I was going crazy because I did not think that I was gonna like be awake at that time, but I just told her, I was like, you know what, that's fine. So she set it for a month after, so a month later from when I went to her, and I basically studied. I had my brother help me to kind of like tutor me. I did a lot of practice quizzes. Go over to my video. Basically it's 3 steps on how I studied and practiced for the ASVAB and took the ASVAB and everything to you know, do everything. I go there, I take the test, get there at like 5:30, I have to wait like an hour at 6, whatever. It takes a long time for the paperwork to go through, everything like that. But I get to the MEPS in LA and I take the test. It is a long test. It's like a 3-hour test. Like, yeah, it's about like a 2.5, 3-hour test. It is a very long time. So I'm done with it. I turn in that scratch paper. I go up to them because the computer will just turn off all the times that I took it, except for the first one. It's been a computer version. So I go there, I go up to the front. He looks at me. One of the people who work there, they look at me, and he's like, why did you take this again? And I was like, to get a better score. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't get a better score. Cause the way he asked me, he's just, why did you take this again? And I was like, to get a better score. And he goes, I'm sorry, you have to take it again. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you have to take it again. And I was like, I got a worse score. Like, I got like a really bad score. And he's like, I can't tell you your score. Just know that, and while he's like talking and explaining, I'm like tearing up. I'm like pretty much on the brink of tears. Yeah. And he was like, and he goes, you scored a 20-point difference from your last test, and that means you have to take it again. And I am like kind of freaking out, but like inwardly. So I'm like, what do you mean I have to like take it? Like, what does that mean? And he's like, look, you got a good score, but because it's so far from your last one, you have to take it again. And I'm like, what the heck? So I go out, and I'm just like, I'm basically walking out of MEPS crying, like not like tear, but just like, I'm in shock. I can't believe it. I walk out, I go in the car with my dad, and I look at the scores, and I got an 80. So I was excited and I was mad all at the same time. I got a great score, but my last score was a 52, and the test can't be 20 points difference, or else you have to take what's called a confirmation test. And from the last score to this score, it was 30 points of difference. So I definitely had to retake it again. But I was like, okay, I just have to do it. Like, I just have to do it. Okay, like, let's just get it over with. Let's get it over with. So I went to my recruiter, and she's like, yeah, I asked her, I was like, well, what is it? Because she never told me anything about that. She never told me anything about like having to retake it if I got a better score. My dad knew also, but he didn't want to tell me because he thought it would mess me up or something like that. I don't know. So I go into my recruiter and I give her the score. She's like, okay, great. So you just have to take it one more time. And I'm like, so I just take like a smaller version? I just take like a different, like what? And she was like, no, you have to take the whole thing again.
The whole thing again.
I'm just like biting my tongue and I'm like, okay, set it up. Like I just don't want to show any emotion because I was just so sad at that moment. I was like, okay, let's just set it up. Let's get this over with. Let's do it. Let's get this ASVAB thing over with. So I set it up for the week after that, and I study pretty much an hour, maybe not even that, maybe like 30 minutes a day, or at least go over it every day. And I'm in there and I'm just like, again, I'm just like praying over like all of this. Like the last time I took it when I got an 80, this time I was just like praying after each little subtest. I was like, please, like, just help me focus. Because on rooms like that, you just hear type, 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 the air conditioning, pencils smacking. It's like, and then it's very distracting. So I just had to like center myself and just breathe. So I did all that and I took it again. I went up to the guy and he was like, weren't you here? I was like, yep, last week. And he before I even took the test, he was coming over to me, the guy who I talked to last time, who told me I had to retake it. And he was like, I saw you before. And I'm like, yeah, I came last week. And he's like, I was like, I'm taking the confirmation test. And he's like, oh, okay. And he sat me down with the computers and he was like, he whispered, he's like, it's okay, calm down, just breathe, you can do this. And I was like, okay. And so he would like come around, he's like, how you doing? I'm like, okay, you can do this. And I'm like, all right, thank you, because I'm over here just like trying. So I go up to him and I give it to him and I'm standing there and he looks up and he's like, you passed. And I look, I'm like, I did? No, really, I was just like, huh? And he's like, you passed. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, yeah, you can go. You got it. And I was like, all right. I thought he was gonna give me another paper or something of a score that I did. But if you're taking a confirmation test, what it is if you pass the test with in that 20-point range, so I couldn't get lower than a 60, I couldn't get higher than a 99, which is the highest, then I could keep my 80. You don't get the score that you retake, you just get that score that you took for the confirmation, or before the confirmation test. So I got my 80, I have an 80, and that is the last time that hopefully that I will have to take this test, because it is a long 3-hour test that you have to study for. Please go over to my other videos, go ahead and watch those. There's some steps on how to take it, my journey of how I got into the wanting to go to my recruiter and everything like that. I hope that this was a little bit of insight onto me and maybe some of the struggles you guys might be going through too of having to take this test so many times. I'm gonna tell you the #1 tip is practice, 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 okay? Do not go in there blind, do not go in there not studying, okay? I know a lot of people, they say they can do it without studying. Don't listen to them. You guys need to go ahead and try your best on this, all right? Take it from somebody who has taken it 4 times. So, okay, you guys gotta go out there and do your best, okay? I wish you luck. See ya.